When we look at this Celtics team, immediately you want to say, who did they play? You want to say they got lucky, Embiid was hurt, Giannis was hurt, etc., etc. And I'm saying we because myself included. It was not an impressive playoff run. So I do understand being skeptical of this team, and I think the real reason people are skeptical of this team is because when we look at recent champions, even though those teams haven't proven to be like some of the greatest teams of all time, they had players that you consider some of the greatest players of all time, and we don't quite see Tatum in that light yet. Maybe that will change, and maybe that will change how we look at this title in retrospect. But when we look at the Warriors run a couple years ago, we say they have one of the greatest players of all time in Steph Curry. Of course they could win a championship. Of course that was a championship-worthy team. Or Giannis, or LeBron, or Jokic, even a Kawhi Leonard. When we look at those recent champions, we say that was a great run because those were great players. Because in our minds, it makes a lot more sense to say Kawhi Leonard was the best player on a championship team as opposed to Jason Tatum was the best player on a championship team. So I feel like that kind of distorts our mind a little bit with this actual team, you know, not players, but this team. And when we look at this team is the most championship-worthy team we've had since the KD Warriors, in my opinion. And again, on the surface, I understand how you could be skeptical about this team, but if you look at all the recent champions, how could you possibly look at those teams and say those teams look more like a championship team than this Celtics team? It just doesn't add up. There was nothing fluky about this run. It wasn't like a certain player, you know, played out of his mind and that's why they propelled to this moment. No, this was their moment and they met their moment. Yes, they had an easy ride there. They can't really help that. But it wasn't like, you know, I was a big believer in Jordan Poole, right? But it's not like this Celtics team had an aberration like that. Jordan Poole was amazing all season, right, for the Warriors that year. But Jordan Poole shooting 50% from the field, 39% from three. The Warriors don't win that championship without Jordan Poole doing that. I'm not trying to take away from that championship. I'm saying if you're gonna look at worthy champions and fluky stuff, Jordan Poole becoming one of the most efficient guards in the playoffs was kind of fluky. I really like Jordan Poole, by the way. Hope he bounces back, right? Andrew Wiggins being second in the NBA playoffs in offensive rebounds, stuff we really couldn't have foreseen, stuff we'll probably never see again. The Celtics is not that situation. This is the Celtics. This has been them all year long. And I'm not going to try to downplay the injuries, right? It was extremely lucky. We all know you need luck to win a championship, right? But at the same time, when people are discussing these injuries, they're going into that discussion assuming the Celtics were like the underdog. That's the way people are talking about it. Like, you guys really didn't want to see Cleveland. Yes, the injuries happened, but were you guys really picking Cleveland? Maybe you guys were. So maybe that's not even a good argument. But it's not like there was this juggernaut team that they got so lucky. You know, it's not like the Milwaukee Bucks against Brooklyn, where, no, they got lucky. They were probably going to lose. The Celtics didn't have that situation. In debating injuries and what would have happened is a dumb argument to even bring up, but you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys are making it seem like the Celtics got lucky. They didn't run into this, you know, this powerhouse. What team? You know, what team? I understand the road was easy, but when we say that, we got to acknowledge, like, I don't know, I really feel like this is a Jason Tatum focused thing, whether people are doing it consciously or subconsciously. I actually feel like it's subconsciously, where you look at a team led by Jason Tatum and you're saying there's no way they are that good. But people don't ever question, you know, the Nuggets championship run without playing a 50-win team. Nobody cares. The Warriors, Ja Morant got hurt. Nobody cares. The Lakers in the bubble. People always bring up the fake bubble ring. People say that, right? Just as jokes, right? But no one ever brings up Bam Adebayo and Dragic being hurt in the finals. Like, no one ever brings it up. Because LeBron won, because Steph won, because Jokic won, Giannis won. We see those guys and we say they deserve to win. They're those guys, right? We don't say that about Jason Tatum. So I feel like that is clouding our judgment on how dominant this Celtics team actually was this year. And I'm not pro Celtics, right? I kind of wanted the Celtics to lose, right? But as a fan of the game, when you take a step back and realize what this team has already done, what they've already accomplished, what they're accomplishing right now, what they could potentially do in the future, I feel like you gotta appreciate this team. I don't feel like we're gonna see a lot more runs like this. Whether you feel like they were some dominant team, and I guess only time will tell, right? Last 5 championship teams did not make it past the second round the next year. Maybe the Celtics can finally break that cycle. But whether you believe they're that great or not, it's kind of a special moment, right? Think about, like, imagine how Lakers fans feel right now. I know this is gonna sound crazy, right? Because these players didn't pan out like that. But in their minds, this is what they thought Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram was going to be. You know, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Sixers fans, they thought this was going to be Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, right? Suns fans, right? Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Mavs fans even, this was supposed to be Luka and Jalen Brunson getting this moment. So for the Celtics fans, that is a really cool feeling to watch those two guys build from the ground up to get to this point. To see the sacrifices they made for each other, even though Jaylen Brown was extremely thirsty in this game, but overall the sacrifices they've made, you know, both of those guys could probably put up a lot better numbers if they really wanted to, but bringing in Porzingis, bringing in Drew Holiday, Derek White even, like, this is a beautiful thing to watch. It sucks that it's the Celtics doing it, right? So we all kind of just want to whatever on the Celtics, right? But I'm not going to diminish this accomplishment. I'm not saying this team is one of the greatest teams of all time, right? Time will tell. How they respond to this will tell. But they have all the statistical profile of one of the greatest teams of all time. This playoff run, even though it was against them, not the best competition, was a historic playoff run in a lot of ways. Like, you can say a lot about this team, but unworthy champion is not something you can really say, in my opinion. And maybe I'm online too much, maybe people aren't saying that, but I do feel like that seems to be a real sentiment out there. And I just feel like if you're gonna say that about this team, then you gotta say it about a lot of the recent champions. That's just my opinion though. And again, time will tell. If this team never gets back here, maybe we don't look back on this ring fondly at all, you know, maybe we don't. And I'm not gonna start the crazy dynasty talk, you know, even a couple months ago, people were saying the Nuggets were about to have this dynasty, right? So I'm not gonna say anything like that. The Bucks are gonna be back, you know, you would assume, right? The Bucks are gonna be back. The Sixers are gonna get somebody this offseason. Who knows what Miami's gonna do? But it does look wide open for them to get right back here. And if they do that, and just look at all the success they've had, like the Celtics have been the mainstay in the NBA for the last, you know, 8 years or so. Besides the Warriors, and obviously once LeBron left the Cavs, it's been the Celtics, right? Miami is there as well, right? The Celtics have been so consistent. Really, they've been the most consistent part about a crazy NBA that's changing every single day the last 5 years or so. It's been the Celtics, right? Miami, of course, as well. But if they get this championship, we're kinda, I don't want to say in the Celtics era, okay, I'm talking too much, I'm just saying a lot of things now, but I just want to appreciate this moment, this team, because we're not going to have a lot of teams like this anymore. We're not going to see star players stick together for 7 years without winning a ring. Like, we're not going to see that. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. Like, if Franz and Paolo aren't getting it done, you know, 4 years from now, they're not going to be together. If Shea and J-Dub don't get it done, they're probably not going to be together. We're already seeing the cat trade rumors. Like, the Celtics thing is pretty rare, but I'm gonna wrap it up there as I'm watching Jason Tatum, you know, shamelessly stat pad here at the end of the fourth quarter, trying to get finals MVP. You know, hopefully for his sake, he gets it. But let me know what you think about this team in general. You know, am I being, you know, too kind to them? I'm not ignoring the easy road they had, but it was the road they had. And I just feel like this team has a proven track record enough for us not to feel like this was some fluky run. This was the best team all season long, and they were the best team in the playoffs, and they deserve this ring. That's how I feel about it, at least. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like, please drop a comment, please subscribe. I am out. Peace.